What if the answers aren't clear? Even if the answers aren't clear, we'll show you where the data leads. Progress is always possible. Simplot Grower Solutions.
Hello, I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Fruit and Vegetable Magazine, reporting to you from the annual conference of the California Association of Pest Control Advisors. I'm here with one of the board members. This is Kuechel. He is with Syngenta Crop Protection. Does a great job covering a lot of territory, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I have a pretty large territory. So I'm based in Yuma, Arizona, but I cover Southern California, so around the Paso Robles area south, and then I have all of Arizona and the state of Hawaii as well.
You work with a lot of growers of a number of commodities, right?
Yeah, specialty crops is our main focus in this area, but yeah, you name it, I've probably got a grower that grows it.
And I wanted to talk about one of the things, because I know you're very in tune with what's going on in the growers here in the West. Diamondback moth.
Yeah, it's a problem.
It's been an ongoing problem for our Brassica crop growers, right?
Yep.
All over, so not just in California.
Throughout California, down into the desert, yeah. It's a persistent issue.
And it's not just it's a bigger problem now than it used to be, and that's because they've developed a resistance to some of the main insecticides we've been using to manage them. Can you tell us about that?
So around 2016 was the first time that we really saw an influx of this population of Diamondback moth in our Brassica crops, and we were noticing that we were spraying repeatedly and they just weren't dying. We did notice we were spraying some of the older diamide chemistries, some of the group 28s, and we determined that they'd built a resistance to the main diamides that were being used in that group 28 IRAC group. And it was a struggle throughout most of the industry, from the Salinas Valley down on the Central Coast, in the Oxnard-Ventura area, and then down into the desert where we grow in the Yuma and Imperial Valleys. Around that Camarillo, Ventura, Oxnard area, it's beautiful weather all the time, and there's a consistent crop there of brassicas. So there's a population that harbors there, and there's a population that harbors around Monterey County. In the desert, we're fortunate to have very extreme summers,
right.
And so we kind of lose that harboring effect, and we get a new population every year that comes in, transient population that comes in on the winds, and also in untransplants. But we deal with the same problem every year, and we've dealt with it since around that fall of 2016, 2017 produce season.
Wow, so what's a grower to do?
That's a great question. So there are lots of crop protection options, but rotation is key, and managing your crop groups, or your IRAC groups and your classes of chemistries, knowing when to apply. The late, great John Palumbo said, when in doubt, scout. So scouting your fields is essential when Diamondback moths are prevalent. When you can get those larvae at an early stage, that's probably the best chance you can have at succeeding and getting to successful harvest. But with this resistant population, you are going to incur some crop damage. And so it's been a struggle. In a normal crop cycle, you typically expect 5 to 6 sprays. And some of these climates, we're seeing 16, 17, 18 sprays. So you can see how it can become an economical issue very quickly.
Yeah. So you mentioned, they're developing resistance to some of these insecticides. Are these the ones that you would still recommend using in the meantime, as long as they're rotating them?
In some cases, I would say you have to, because you have to spray so often.
So it still has an effect?
Yes, it still has an effect. The older diamides are less effective than some of the newer generation diamides, but typically guys are staying away from the 28s as a staple or an initial spray, right? So they'll use that, and they've even introduced BTs, or some organic compounds, in the rotational cycle, just to break up the cycle of what they're spraying, to not incur more resistance to other classes of chemistries.
Yeah, now in the foreseeable future, I mean, obviously this is on your minds. It's Syngenta,
Sure.
And I'm sure some other crop protection companies. Do you foresee some new products on the horizon?
Yeah, we have a pretty robust pipeline at Syngenta, and we've been working on a new insecticide. We're currently awaiting federal registration for that, but we're hoping, and we've seen trial work where it's been very effective on this pest, and so we're hoping to attain federal registration soon, and then coming to a state near you, pending federal registration, we should see it roll out across the West. We're anticipating our first registration to be in Arizona. The little registration process is a little faster in Arizona as opposed to California. We did submit concurrent
California
registration.
is interesting that way.
Yeah. We did submit concurrent registration federally and to DPR, so they've had it in their hands. So we're just awaiting approval federally first, and then we'll work to go through the processes with each state.
Well, we really appreciate your insights, the relationship that you have with growers, and Syngenta, consistently putting out products that are going to make a difference for growers, and it's nice to see you got something coming soon. So read more about that in our publications. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.